Go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. My name is Ernest Carvalho. I am the chair for Neighborhood Board 13. We're going to go ahead and start from my right with Mr. McDonald introducing himself.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's nice to see everybody here today. I'm Kevin McDonald, Neighborhood Board Member. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Lai. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Aloha and happy May Day and Lay Day. I'm Robert Armstrong.
Hello, Ross Isokane.
All right. And
Good evening, Laura Sturgis.
mahalo. Laura.
And good evening as well. This is Lori McCarney.
All right. Thank you, mahalo. All right. So we want to go ahead and get this started. We're going to start off with public safety reports. This would be including discussions on board and community inquiries, 5 minutes each. Honolulu Fire Department, please. Please state your name for us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Arakaki, captain at Central Fire Station, 1st Platoon. Glad to be here. Sorry about that. These are the incident statistics report for April 2025. Versus fires, we had 1 nuisance fire, 2 cooking fires, and 9 activated alarms with no fire. 124 medical alarms, 2 motor vehicle collisions involving a pedestrian, 5 motor vehicle crashes with just autos. This month, public safety tip is in regards to home fire sprinklers. Fire sprinklers serve as the first line of defense against fires, often extinguishing the fire before the fire department even arrives. For more information, visit homefiresprinkler.org. Fire spreads quickly. A fire can turn deadly within under 2 minutes. Synthetic materials burn quickly and release deadly poisonous smoke. High-risk individuals in home fires include small children, elderly adults, those with disabilities, and pets. Fire sprinklers protect your home and family and activate automatically to control the fire, thereby giving everyone a chance to escape. The best protection is having working smoke alarms, fire sprinklers, and a practice fire escape plan. Information about Honolulu's ordinances relating to fire safety is available at fire.honolulu.gov. Any questions for me?
All right. Thank you, Captain Arakaki. Right? All right. Does anyone in our lobby, that's live here in the audience, have any questions for the fire department? Hearing none, seeing none. Anyone online have questions for our fire department? Hearing none, seeing none. Any board members have a question for the fire department? No. Hearing none, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
All right. All right. Thank you. Next up, we have the Honolulu Police Department, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Kennison Lee, and from the Honolulu Police Department. For the month of April 2025, our statistics for motor vehicle theft is 9. The previous was 5, last month. Burglary, 2 compared to 4. 28 compared to 24 was the UMV. Assault, 12 compared to 30 last month. Sex assault, we have 3, and 3 last month. And graffiti, we have 0. And drug arrests, 6 compared to 9. Total calls for service, 2,277 calls compared to 2,492 calls. And that's what we have for this.
All right. Thank you very much, Sergeant Lee. Does anyone in our lobby that's with us today have any questions for our HPD officer, Sergeant Lee? Seeing none or hearing none. Anyone online? Not seeing one or hearing one. We'll go ahead to board members. Any board members have any questions? Go ahead, Board Member McDonald, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for being here. I believe that our state legislature ended today, the legislative session. I'm going to change up my question that I often ask a little bit, just to see if you have an opinion on any of the legislation that was passed or was not passed. And is there any praise that you can offer for any of the legislation that went through, or any criticisms of things that went through or didn't go through? That I'm a big fan of HPD, and I know your work is hard, and I often think the legislature is working against you by making your job so difficult to solve crime and to apprehend our criminals. So do you have any criticisms or any help that you can offer us as we do our best to influence the state, let the state lawmakers and city council members to help you make your jobs easier and help you guys be more efficient?
Thank you for the question. So normally on following the meeting that we have here, we usually go into, we have our own meeting, and that's when we dissect what the legislation has passed and not passed. And from there, that's how we go forward. As far as personal opinions, I'll just keep that to myself. Yeah.
What happens at that meeting?
Okay.
All right, hold on, Mike, and then please ask. Thank you. Thank you. So we didn't get a report from HPD this month, but we'll make sure that Sergeant Freeman, when he gets back, brings us that report. Okay. Anyone else on board? Go ahead, Board Member Kevin Lai.
Thank you, Chair. Sergeant, for a long time around here, the mantra was no bikes on sidewalks in Waikiki and in the business district areas. Tonight on my way here, I was almost hit twice by e-bikes on the sidewalks. For public knowledge and to broadcast, what are the current rules here about e-bikes and bikes and skateboards on sidewalks in Chinatown, downtown area in particular, and also on 4th Street Mall? Can you literally lay down the law? Thank you.
Basically, no bikes in business areas, and skateboarding in business areas, business districts. It's different when you come to residential areas. Obviously, you can ride on sidewalks. When it comes to e-bikes, that's a new thing that's been passed with the legislation, and what everybody's frustrated with is that e-bikes is in a special class. Some come with pedals and some don't, and those are special bikes. So what we're trying to do is implement laws such as no driver's license, no insurance, and we can cite these individuals that have these bicycles that don't have pedals and have a great amount of speed, going 40 to 50 miles per hour. So that's what we're trying to enforce. We also have projects that District 1 holds for bicycle projects that we're implementing of citing individuals in downtown area also.
All right, thank you. We'll do follow-up questions after everyone has a chance. Go ahead, Board Member Sturgis, please. Please unmute.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My question is with the sit lie law and how over by AC Hotel, there's a bunch of homeless people that do sleep there. And I see citations on the ground, yellow citations. What do those actually do?
What do the citations do?
Yeah, because if they're homeless, I don't think they're going to, answer to those citations. So I'm just trying to figure out why they're even writing them.
Well, we give
officers.
Well, we give citations, and what happens is that if they don't show up to court, there's a bench warrant that comes out for their arrest. So when we do encounter that same individual, they're going to be arrestable. And it's usually a $25 warrant that usually comes about, should they not follow up with the court system. And after a while, it builds.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions from any other board members? Go ahead, Board Member Isakani, please.
Hey, Sergeant, just want to make a quick comment.
Yeah.
I follow the news pretty closely. I haven't seen HPD in the news a lot, and I think that's a good thing for you all.
All right.
So, I know improvements need to be made, but I would say to your team, your leadership, keep up the good work. But we're always watching, so thank you for what you do.
I appreciate that.
All right, and thank you. And I will allow Board Member Live to do a follow-up, then I'll end it.
Chair, thank you for second time speaker. So Sergeant, just to wrap around back to the bike. So regardless of pedals or not, we should not see bikes of any type on sidewalks.
In the business district, yes.
And so the question is, can you define that better? Is it the whole BMX4 area that is most of downtown and Chinatown? Like what areas around here in our district would you think are not business?
Well, it's pretty obvious where the business district starts from Lily Hill all the way down to, let's say, Punch Bowl area, even beyond. Because Makiki area is a residential area. So it's basically the downtown area. Yeah, there's no black and white answer to that. That's why. But
All right.
when we see business areas, it's business district.
All right, thank you very much. And before we leave, I have two questions. One minute time. So first of all, I'd like to go on the sit-lie law. Why is no one actually enforcing it? I get up for work at 4:30. I work for the state right across the Island Park at the old railroad station. I walk home. As soon as I get onto Hotel and River, from Fred Sundry's, which is down by K. Kaliki Mall, going right down, you have nothing but homeless already sleeping and in camp and doing the drugs and everything else right there. It's a terrible mess for the businesses in that area. And why are we not moving them? Because law doesn't start till 11, I believe, 11 to 5 in the morning. But at 4:30 in the afternoon, they're already there. Right? So that's ridiculous. Second of all, my next one is I went out on Friday night, late Friday night when the bars closed. Once the bars closed, Hotel Street was great. Like Hawaii and Bethel was a mess. And the cops did not do their job. They did not do their job in taking care of a homeless guy with no shirt on harassing tourists. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
So we're done. You can just answer that in an email and then we'll take it back. Well, one more. Shulan, I just noticed that. Go ahead,
Oh, thank you so much, Chair.
See you, Jordan.
Thank you, HPD. I just wanted to let you know that we work very closely with Captain Roberts, and so we've been communicating because we understand some logistical problems. And I do appreciate that in the last few days, we have HPD presence, even those on ATVs, and that they were able to clear an additional storage on North Hotel Street in the Char Travel Building. I've been keeping track on some of these issues along Hotel and also along North King and River Street. So it's kind of, we appreciate the presence, but we need more consistency. If you can spare the people to come out, it really helps, because they did have a situation on Hawaii Street and also a situation on Hotel Street where the police did come out. So it is present and it is also not present
10
sometimes.
seconds, please.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
What were the times that happened?
What were the times, Shulan?
Oh, okay.
Time of day?
Yeah. During the daytime, around noon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Around
there
noon.
were like 3 police cars, and then the ATV I saw was last evening on River, and that helps.
Okay, well, I can speak with my command, and
Go ahead, you can follow up with this, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can speak with my command and we have different shifts, so maybe we can adjust our shifts to address that issue.
Yeah. But what we need is more morning hours, and after 3:30, we don't need you so much because businesses are closed by that time. And then we also noticed some violation on Kekaliki Mall where trucks are parked along.
Thank you,
that.
Shulon.
So I just wanted to alert you guys that they're not allowed to park vehicles on the Kekaliki Mall, but they were parking.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Shulon, appreciate that. Once again, thank you very much, Sergeant Lee, appreciate it.
thank you for your time.
You have a good day. All right. So next up is item 3.1, consideration of board action for removal of an officer. The board secretary as elected by board vote in July 2024, as requested by board member Kevin Lai. Board member Lai's written testimony submitted to the NCO on this item was put into our public testimony folder on our Google Drive for all to read in advance and see his complaints. As chair, I recommend the board not take action on board member Lai's item. I'd like to move on from this as quickly as possible and get to our other agenda topics. I recommend that no motion is made. I recommend no second. I recommend no discussion. And if you all insist, I intend to get us to a roll call vote as soon as possible. Is there a motion? Go ahead, board member Lai.
Chair, in respect to those who are attending tonight, and I wish that there had been recognition before the note there, I'd like to move without objection that we
Yes,
change item 3 to follow item 8 on our agenda tonight, and that will allow us to dispose of this at a more
Your
appropriate
motion?
time during the meeting. Motion is to amend the agenda to move item 3 to follow item number 8.
okay, so we're going to take care of it now. We're not going to, no, hold on. We're not going to move anything on the agenda. The agenda is as set. Every time I add something to the agenda or move something to the agenda, there's always a complaint filed against me to OIP. It's not happening. So it's not going to happen. You can make a motion and
A motion's been made. You're obligated to await if there's a second from.
is there a second? Okay. Any objections?
Point of clarification. I do notice that this item, approval of minutes, is normally later in the agenda. Is there a reason why you?
Yeah,
moved it up?
so I've actually moved all minutes up front because I want that to get over as soon as possible, then get into what our core of what the public needs to know about. Okay? So it was my decision as chair, the agenda is mine. All right, so we have a second. Do we have any objections? Okay, we have an objection. Do we have any discussions? Go ahead, you all each 1 minute to discuss and no follow-ups. So
Chair,
make
thank-
your objections.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's, very reasonable to move this item of what is technically board business to the end of the meeting where we typically discuss board business. Number 2, these are items that are not germane to the remainder of everyone who might be here tonight. It's not unreasonable to do so. I do find an objection to your statement before we even begin to discuss this to be very prejudicial. Lastly, the way the wording is in the motion is not what was submitted to you. And testimony has been submitted to explain this. The chair is obliged to provide on the agenda for consideration that which was submitted, not an editorialized version of such. So again, very prejudicial. I highly recommend that we move to.
Time's up. Thank you. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know what's going on here, but I definitely concur that the approval of minutes or change of the secretary's position is not for the public at large. I mean, it isn't of germane use for them, and I'd like to see it back in the order that it is, which is down around item 8 as suggested by the motion. Thank you.
Anyone else has a discussion on this? Go
Chair.
ahead, Board Member Shulan Shubakwa.
Chair, it's on the agenda, so the board needs to take action on that issue of trying to remove the secretary based on board member Lyle's request. We need to hear why he wants the board member Isokani removed. Because it's on the agenda, we need to discuss it. We can't just say we're not going to vote or discuss it. It's on the agenda. unless we vote to remove it.
Okay, do we have any other discussions? All right, not hearing none, I'm going to do the last discussion on this one. All right, so I make the agenda. The agenda belongs to the chair. I put this up because I believe that the public, the residents, the community, the businesses have a right to know what's going on in our meetings. You guys are hoping that everybody be gone and people are not going to be here to hear this. That's fine, but it's not going to happen that way. I made the decision to move this up, okay? So anytime a board member asks me to request something, I always also attach the names to it, as everybody knows. So we're going to go ahead and move forward at this point to roll call vote. Motion, yeah.
The motion is to move 3.1 to section,
No,
to section 8.
Item 3 to follow item 8.
Okay. All right. Armstrong,
Aye.
Fitzsimmons, not here, absent. Isokane,
No.
Lai,
Aye.
McCarney,
No,
McDonald,
Aye.
Schubert Quack,
no,
Sturgis,
no,
Chair.
No.
Let's see, 3 ayes, 5 noes, 0 abstentions. The motion
incorrect.
is not.
It's incorrect. There are 5 ayes, five noes, and 3 nays, right?
3 ayes,
Okay,
5
correct.
noes.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
So
Okay.
the motion doesn't pass.
All right. Is there a motion on the agenda item? Go ahead, Board Member Lai.
Chair, the motion,
1 minute.
thank you. I'm trying to find the phrasing of the motion that was submitted to the chair to be placed on the agenda. But in essence, it is that the motion is to vacate the position of Board Secretary for Neighborhood Board 13. There are citations made of the specific sections of the neighborhood plan that are found to be deficient, and those that justify the action, and those that define what would.
All right, excuse me, sir.
Chair,
You're not making a motion. I need a motion to move on.
I have,
This is not a motion. I'm asking for a motion. I'm not asking for a discussion. I'm making a motion on the agenda item 3.1.
thank you, Chair.
Is there a motion on 3.1? Once we make a motion, then we can start discussions.
I
Chair, I
make the
see.
motion, Chair.
I was stating the motion in full, which was to vacate the position of Secretary for Neighborhood Board.
So this is your motion.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Chair, I'm confused.
Yeah. So the motion is to vacate, yeah?
No,
The secretary. So is there a second? Is anyone going to second this motion? Going once? No one second it? Seeing that there is no second, this is now done, dismissed. All right, so next we're going to go on to 3.2, which is next up, 3.2, board action to approve outstanding draft regular meetings, written summaries for video record previously posted for Thursday, February 6, 2025, and Thursday, March 6, 2025, and Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. Chair will be considering this agenda items as a package and will not be considering any recommendations to break them up. Chair's recommendation is to move straight to the approval and limit discussions. Are there any objections? Go ahead, Board Member Lai.
I'm expressing my objection to the motion made, but I'd like to offer a motion.
Go ahead. Make a motion.
Thank you, Chair.
Motion here.
In that recognition, like I said, I'd like to believe that the board should defer approval of the written records for February 6, March 6, and April 3. Because of severe deficiencies and such, testimony has been presented and submitted that shows repairs that need to be made to update incorrect names and whatnot. I think it does a disservice to our community if the board moves to adopt documents that are clearly wrong and deleterious to our community. They are not going to be helpful for archiving in the future. The motion's been made. Thank you, Chair.
Any seconds? You speak? I gotta hear you.
I second.
Okay. Any objections?
Object.
Any discussions? And 1 minute discussions, no follow-ups. Go ahead, Board Member Lai.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to display on screen a markup of the most recent edition of the written record. And for the board members who maybe didn't take the time to read the written draft, it's very clear that even a cursory examination of the document by anyone on our staff within the board itself could have helped make a better document. When we get to the points where there are just flat out incorrect items in the document, there's no way that the board should move to consider accepting it without repair. You'll recall that, for example, the February draft was withdrawn from consideration in March. Why? Well, testimony had been presented of corrections that could be made. It was hoped that was a move that was done so that the secretary would have a chance to review those corrections, incorporate them into a new draft, present that for the board to reconsider. That would make
10 seconds.
more palatable the idea of adopting these documents that are wrong. And the members of the public
Time.
are doing disservice.
Go ahead, Board Member McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. In the interest of putting this to bed, I have a question for Dr. Lai, and then if it is, then a motion, I might want to make a motion. My question for Dr. Lai or anybody is there a prepared alternative set of minutes that we can make a motion to pass it so that we can pass the alternate motion that Dr. Lai is proposing? Is there a prepared version of these minutes for the meeting? And if so, if there is one that's prepared, then I would make a motion myself to adopt the new prepared instead of the formerly proposed minutes.
As I said, you have 1 minute, and only 1 minute for your discussion, no follow-ups on that. No, no. Can I ask him a question? You have to, this is a discussion. I gave you your minute. You did your discussion. He said he
I haven't had my full
No,
minute.
no, you said you had your 1 minute. That was your 1 minute. You must follow rules. Anybody else on the board? Shulan? No?
Yeah, Chair, I was indicating that I was quite confused by all this motions and stuff because it was on the agenda. I wanted to know why Board Member Lai asked that Secretary voted in to be removed. I'd like to know the reason, and we need to discuss that.
Okay.
And then we can vote to say, no, we're not going to do this or we're going to do this. We need to discuss it
Okay.
and we need to vote on it.
All right, Shulan, we're past that, yeah?
I know, but because you didn't call me, I put my hand up and then it went past.
So we're
And
past
then I
that.
did say I was confused by
Alright.
this series of motion and this and that, but it's on the agenda. And I had indicated we should discuss it. We need to know the reason why it was proposed.
Okay,
And this is for the public
so we're,
and for ourselves as well.
Shulan, time. So here's the thing that live motion, then actually Mr. McDonald's second. You did not second. So there's been no second on that motion.
Seconding, if that's what you're forcing me to do.
Chair, can I just clarify
Yeah, go ahead.
what happened? Thank you, Chair. Hey, Chulan, I just want to clarify, agenda item 3.1, Board Member Lai made a motion. Nobody seconded it, so we moved on from that item. Basically, that agenda is over. We moved on from that item. We can go back to the video record. No. Excuse me, I think I have the floor. What actually
Yes.
happened was for 3.1, we voted on whether we wanted to move it to later That vote did not pass. Then he made a motion to go ahead with 3.1 to vacate. Nobody seconded.
Right.
You can look at the video record if you want.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
is
for your
correct.
apology.
All right,
So we
Okay.
moved, so Chulan, we moved on. Now we're at 3.2.
Okay, I
We're actually
understand
still
it now
waiting for a
because it
motion on
was
3.2.
so confusing. I
No,
couldn't
I
understand
understood.
it. Yeah, I get it now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So now we're on now we're on his motion
Yeah.
to defer this
Yeah,
item.
Defer. So I need a second.
Kevin Lai seconded. No motion.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Kevin made a motion to defer. Motion. He said he didn't make a motion.
Kevin Lai made a motion to defer. McDonald seconded.
Oh, so we're discussing it.
Well, now, and we've already discussed it. Now we need.
I actually thought you said that you seconded, but you said you didn't. You were asking a question.
Can we vote on the motion?
Yeah. So is there any other discussions? Relax. We're going to vote on this first one, on the motion to defer. We're going to vote on the motion to defer. He already asked his question. He had his time. Yeah. So I'm going to call for the vote at this time. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to make an
Okay,
additional
so
motion.
we're going to, what we're voting is on to defer. That's
Does,
the first thing.
we can ask the neighborhood assistant.
Yeah.
And I'll defer to what she says.
No.
Am I
So
able to make
you
a
made
motion?
the discussion, so I'm moving on with a vote. So you already motion to be second. You motion second on Kevin Lai's deferral. We had a discussion on this.
Yeah.
After discussion, now we're going to go ahead and move to
I
a
want
vote.
to make a new motion.
I'm calling for the vote.
Can we ask the neighborhood assistant if I'm allowed to make a motion or not? Just a point of order, that's all. Neighborhood assistant?
The motion on the table right now is to just defer it.
Yes. And I'd like to make a different motion before we vote on that motion.
If you're trying to amend this motion.
Yes. Okay.
So I did call the vote on this. We're going to vote.
Doesn't the neighborhood assistant tell us what parliamentary procedure is?
So, okay. Armstrong,
Wow.
I'm sorry, can
Hey.
you restate the motion, please? Is this simply,
Okay.
is this to
Um,
defer the approval of the minutes or is
So
this approval, is this approval?
And there's an
of the
amendment on the floor.
minutes?
So the motion is to defer the vote.
And the
Defer
chair
until
refused
when?
to entertain an amendment.
And the motion is to defer the voting on the minutes, yeah? So we defer to next month. I'm recommending no, we'll go ahead and accept the minutes.
so to defer the minutes. Okay. Armstrong,
Aye.
Fitzsimmons, absent. Isokane,
No.
Lai,
Aye.
McCartney,
No,
McDonald,
No.
Schubert Kwok,
No.
Sturgis. Sturgis.
No,
Okay, thank you. Chair.
No.
Okay. 2 noes. 2 ayes, 6 noes, 0 abstentions. The motion doesn't pass.
All right, now I'm calling for the vote on the agenda item.
Chair,
I recommend that we go ahead and accept it as it is. Our minutes are the summary video minutes, not the written minutes. Go ahead.
thank you, Chair. I'd like to move to
I'm
amend.
calling for a vote.
Chair, I'm objecting to the vote. I've been recognized. I'm making a motion to
Go ahead.
amend the
Yeah,
motion.
yeah.
The motion is to
You
amend.
have 1 minute.
Thank you. I'd like to list a number of amendments to be made to the February, March, and April written summaries as submitted so that they may, as is required, faithfully and with fidelity reflect what happened at these meetings. There are a number of errors that need to be corrected, such as attendees' names who are incorrect, things that happen out of order, people who seem to be appearing and making comments before they were actually at the meeting. These are errors that should not be archived in the records for the neighborhood board. And any of the board members who vote to adopt these documents without having read them or considered how wrong and incorrect they are is doing a disservice to your constituents. The motion has been made. If seconded, I have the list of amendments that can be made and they can be voted on as a package or.
10 seconds.
Thank you, Chair.
I'm calling the vote.
I second
I-
the
I'm-
motion.
No, this was a discussion on the vote. I called for the vote. You said you're going to do discussion.
Thank you. I was recognized. I made a motion. That motion has been seconded. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know why this is even happening, sir.
Yeah, so we are calling the vote.
On the amendment to the motion.
Go ahead, yes. Go ahead, you second it? We have,
I second the motion to add all the amended items to the minutes.
go ahead. Any discussion? You may, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. So in the effort, I'm really just trying to put this to bed. In the effort to put this all to bed, I made a motion that we adopt all the suggested amendments suggested by Member Lai. We can vote now to add those amendments to the notes, the minutes, or we can vote against it, and then we vote on the minutes as they're presented, which is what I'm trying to accomplish.
All right, 10 seconds. All right, go ahead, Board Member Isakani.
Thank you, Chair. Here's my advice to what's happening right now. Apologies to everyone for this waste of time, by the way. Here's my advice. According to the neighborhood plan, the chair has discretion to call votes at his discretion. So you've called the vote, you allowed discussion where someone tried to make an alternative motion. You still have the power to call the original vote that you requested. I just want to make that clear. If anyone has problems with that, they can file a complaint.
All right. Discussion, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. Again, board members, please know that there are material errors in each of these documents. You should not vote to approve them without them being amended. It's very easy. If the secretary had a chance to review these documents, he too would have caught a lot of these errors. And then to edit the document before it gets circulated to us and to the public, that's what the process is to clean this up. So we don't have to do this. If somebody would just literally do the job that's assigned to them in the neighborhood plan, it would be of great help. That's
All right.
actually on what led to the prior
Time.
motion. Thank you.
Time. All right, so at this point, no more. We're not taking no more discussions. We are calling the vote at this time. Yeah,
Chair calling for
No. on the agenda items. That's what I'm calling. Oh, actually,
We vote, and then we vote on the amendment, and then we vote again on the final thing. It takes 2 minutes.
so. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and what we're gonna do at this time. We are going to go ahead and vote on the amendment. Then from the amendment, we're going to go straight to the vote on the agenda. Straight, no more discussions. We're not going to run this into the floor. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, call for vote.
So the motion is to accept the amendments for all the minutes on that section. Okay. Armstrong,
Aye.
Fitzsimmons,
No.
Isokane,
No.
Lai,
Aye.
McCarney,
No.
okay, McDonald,
Aye.
Schubert Quack,
No.
Sturgis,
No.
Chair.
No.
So 3 ayes, 6 noes, 0 abstentions. The motion doesn't pass.
Okay, so now we're going directly to the vote on the agenda items to approve. We've had discussions back and forth, going back and forth. We're not going to continue anymore. We are going straight to the vote. Call the vote.
All right.
There you go.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Fitzsimmons, Isokane,
Aye.
Lai,
Nay.
McCartney,
Aye.
McDonald,
Aye.
Schubert Quack,
Aye.
Sturgis,
Aye.
Chair.
Okay, so, aye.
8 ayes, 1 no, 0 abstentions. The motion passes.
All right, the motion is approved. Okay, so we're getting a little bit better, not as good as I want to and faster, but happy we can finally move on. Presentations. Next up is presentation item 4.1. Resident reported traffic and safety issues surrounding Chick-fil-A Makiki location on South Baratania Street by Lindsay Chambers, to be immediately followed by Board Member Isakane's introduction of a related resolution. Following both of these, I will open the floor up to discussion. Go ahead, Lindsay Chambers, can you please come up and introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hello, Chair Carvalho, neighborhood board members. Just want to start off by saying Ha'ole Lame, happy May Day. Thank you for your time. My name is Lindsay Chambers, and I want to thank you for considering this resolution. And I apologize, I want to go off my remarks so I can keep it within the allotted time. I live in the Makiki neighborhood near Chick-fil-A on Baratania Street. And while the restaurant may be just outside your boundaries, its impacts are not. Baratania is a critical corridor into Honolulu. What happens there affects the Downtown-Chinatown neighborhood by impacting bus riders, emergency vehicles, commuters, and pedestrians. Since Chick-fil-A opened in 2023, we have seen continued traffic congestion with drive-through lines often straddling 2 and sometimes even 3 lanes when cars are parked. In addition, we have experienced blocked residential and business driveways, illegal parking, including on the sidewalks for mobile order pickups, and ongoing safety hazards. City officials initially acknowledged that Chick-fil-A was required to submit a traffic management plan to get approval to build their restaurant, which they did. However, they now claim that the plan is too vague to be enforceable. Meanwhile, Chick-fil-A has denied responsibility for addressing the problems it has created and is ignoring the very plan they submitted. They routinely fail to keep both drive-through lanes open, even during busy times, merging into a single lane behind the building out of public view, which causes the backups onto Baratania Street. When asked about the issue, the DTS director claimed there were, quote, no safety issues. However, as you'll see from his follow-up letter on this matter, there was no analysis to support that claim, no data, no documented observances with timestamps, just verbal accounts from staff. This is not how public safety should be evaluated, especially when you see obvious dangers. This resolution would be a step in the right direction, with new Chick-fil-A locations planned in Kapolei and at the already congested intersection of Kapiolani and Kalakaua. It's critical that the city apply proper due diligence moving forward and try to mitigate the current impacts. For the Waikiki location, DPP's records show no traffic study was conducted and no comprehensive traffic management plan was required, despite the clear potential for negative impacts. While the company claims this location will be a sit-down restaurant without a drive-through, that is not a typical model for the chain. We will have no way of knowing whether drivers will queue along the roadways waiting for parking, especially as walk-in orders take longer. And lastly, I just want to be clear, I am absolutely pro-business, especially as we celebrate Small Business Month in May. I'm just asking that we keep in mind that Honolulu is already a densely populated city with limited space. We cannot afford to leave these decisions to chance. The city owes residents a thorough, proactive approach to planning and oversight that helps both businesses and residents thrive safely. And again, thank you for your time and interest in this matter.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. We're not going to discussions yet. I'll have Board Member Isokane introduce the draft resolution to this.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Lindsay. And by the way, you're welcome to stay up there just in case there are questions. But I just want to say thanks for bringing this matter to our attention. Just for the board's benefit, my understanding is Lindsay's been in front of our neighbors in Makiki board about 3 to 4 straight times now. Unfortunately, due to their lack of ability to get quorum, she just hasn't been able to get a resolution. So I wanted to, see if our board wanted to do a part, help our friends and neighbors out in Makiki, and just get this resolution in front of us to do our part of the neighborhood plan to assure effective citizen participation. Most of the resolution is just copied and pasted from a lot of the words that Lindsay has put on there. I think it's pretty straightforward. I just want to emphasize this resolution. We're just asking the city to study and recommend some, if they see a substantive problem, then take action. But that's all we're doing. We're an advisory board. All we're doing is advising the city. Don't blow this off. Listen to the residents, study it, and if they find that there's a real problem, take action. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Board Member Isakani. As Chair, I do support this resident's concern and I applaud her initiative. So I hope we can adopt this resolution to support her efforts. I'm formally calling for board approval for this resolution as written and listed on the agenda. First, is there any discussions for Lindsay Chambers or Board Member Isakani on the agenda item or resolution? First from the public. Not seeing none, not hearing none. Anyone online? No, not hearing none, seeing none. I'm going for the residents first. All right, not seeing none. Next, we'll go to our board members. We're going to go ahead and start off with Vice Chair Sean Fitzsimmons.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I think this is an interesting consideration because anyone who's driven on that street notices the obstructions already caused by McDonald's, right? And so I'm sure that the addition of Chick-fil-A like across the street, right, and the dense traffic has literally compounded the issues. So for those reasons, I'm in support. Thank you.
All right, Board Member Shulon Shubakwa.
Thank you, Chair. I concur because I've witnessed traffic jam on the right side of Veritania ever since Chick-fil-A opened. So it's Chick-fil-A opened. So it is causing some traffic tie-up with that location, and then 2 lanes taken by people trying to get into the restaurant. So we need to look at that.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Board Member Laura Sturgis.
Yes, I myself have gone through Chick-fil-A's line. It actually ropes around the corner, where Canal lets out. Then you turn onto Pensacola, and then you turn onto Veritania. It's all bottlenecked.
Yep.
And the people that live in that area have a problem to get through to their areas. They say don't block their driveways, but they are being blocked.
Yep.
So it is a problem.
Yep.
All right, next Board Member McCarney.
Thank you, Lindsay, for being here. And I think, like everybody else, definitely experienced that Chick-fil-A is quite popular. I thought actually it would die down after people got used to it being there. But I also know that it's consistently, there's a line at McDonald's in the street, which makes it the Chick-fil-A issue more apparent.
Mhm.
But McDonald's, I know on Waialae Avenue, if we're talking generally about this kind of thing, the same thing happens around 11th Avenue where there's a consistent line that is a problem. And so I'm just wondering, as you've talked specifically about this location and about Chick-fil-A, if you've also looked at the other fast food or other kinds of like Starbucks or different places that may have another issue, and if perhaps we can ask the city to take a look, not just at this one, and it's probably a separate resolution and maybe not the place to do this here. But if we could take a better look at that. There's very little space for cars, much less bikes or pedestrians. And we also do want to support our businesses too. So it's a little bit complicated. Thank you.
All right, no, thank you. Next is, go ahead. You can answer, go ahead. Yeah.
To board members' comments about that, if you look at Chick-fil-A specifically, the pattern nationwide is that they tend to cause these traffic issues where they go. A city in Santa Barbara almost declared them a public nuisance because of it. They tend to buy up smaller lots, and so the footprint of their business is smaller, it's cheaper, and then they back out onto public roadways. I am aware of the McDonald's one on Waialae, that is an issue. The McDonald's across the street has a pretty big footprint, and they're not blocking business driveways or residential driveways in and out, so that's less of a problem. But I think for me, having seen what happened in Waialae, if the city could adopt Because what happened is it's under same lot usage. They weren't required to do a traffic study or a comprehensive traffic management plan. It was just rubber stamped by DPP. So if the city can include a little bit more robust due diligence before these businesses open, I'm sure there are solutions on how they can mitigate the impacts. But thank you for the question.
All right, thank you. Next is Board Member Lai, I believe.
Chair, very much. A couple of things. I wonder if the board members had a chance to review the testimony that's labeled Uemura #1 that's in the testimony folder. I tried to read it, but could not because somehow it's printed in a landscape portion in 8.5. I don't know why that happens, but it's an issue. Secondly, I wonder what is the ultimate end game here? Yes, this was not an unknown thing that was going to happen when Chick-fil-A said they were going to come to town. I think if you look at the new Chick-fil-A coming up, I believe at Kapiolani and Kalakaua, that I think that there's going to be an even greater traffic jam issue. So is the purpose of the resolution to put the onus on the city to do something? Or ultimately, is this to shut down or inhibit functions or sales or visits by or to the Chick-fil-A? I just wonder what is the overall end point here? What would be a good solution for you? I guess
Lindsay. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Lindsay or the maker of the motion.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yeah, board member, really not to prohibit Chick-fil-A business operations. We just want to operate smartly and safely. I think what it has caused since it opened is a pretty big safety issue with cars just straddling the lines, not following traffic laws, parking right on the sidewalk. So sometimes when I walk my dog, I have to walk on the street to go around it. So it's really just trying to put in mitigation efforts so they can operate safely.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Rossi Scotty.
And Chair, if I may respond to Board Member Lai's question. Yeah, good question. The point of the resolution, as in the resolved clauses, is just to encourage and urge the city to listen to the residents, study, and if they identify a problem, then take action. That's how the resolution is worded.
All right, next Board Member Armstrong.
Lindsay, thank you for coming and for your activism. I don't think there's anybody here that hasn't recognized that this is an issue. I have a question and a concern. The concern I'm going to start with first, and that is I don't care for the idea of this board putting its nose into other boards or other jurisdictions' concerns. It was very clear that that is not the wishes of this board previously. And so now, because it's another author, we have exceptions. But my question is, I didn't know this was the Makiki Neighborhood Board. I thought it was the Ala Moana Kaka'ako Neighborhood Board. But have you gone, that they have to be parallel or right next door. Have you been to that board and asked for their support as well?
To answer question 1, I think in my testimony, I mentioned that it's the main thoroughfare into town. I used to live in this district at Kukui Plaza, some affinity for here. So I was always on Baratania coming home, and those people are affected by it. So I think what this board has a chance to do is really set an example for other neighborhood boards and the city to step up and do the right thing as they open new locations, because you never know, they could come here into downtown. The second is, I'm sorry, your second. Got it. I did not go to them. I really appreciate Board Member Isokane's proactiveness in reaching out to me. I believe you tuned into the Makiki Neighborhood Board meeting. But that would be a next stop. I did reach out to the Waikiki Neighborhood Board and haven't heard back from him, especially because they're opening right in their district at a very congested intersection. But yes, I have gone to Waikiki. I haven't gone to Ala Moana Kaka'ako, but I will take you up on that idea.
So we will let him go
Yep.
first. Then.
Absolutely.
All right, Board Member McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Lindsay, for being here. I really, really like to see people getting active in the community and trying to make it a better place. This is one that I really struggle with, as I am a very big pro-business person. I'm particularly struggling with the singling out of Chick-fil-A. We know about the McDonald's on Waialae, but this also happens on the McDonald's on the very same street. The Taco Bell across the street often has a line that stretches past the mattress store that's there and some other things there. And as somebody who works in the bar and nightclub business, I'm very familiar with the bars closing and customers disseminating out, and often the pedestrians in the streets, kind of meandering out there and causing a safety hazard for themselves and for the traffic. So I am struggling with the singling out of Chick-fil-A, and it does, the way this is worded, there are several passages there that seem
10
to
seconds left.
punish Chick-fil-A for really being good at their jobs. They're very, there's a very big demand for what they do here. So I am tending to pass this
Please,
in the idea of
please go ahead and finish up.
studying this.
Yeah, thank you. Next up will be Board Member Sean Fitzsimmons, followed by myself, and discussion will be closed. There'll be no follow-ups on this.
Yeah, no, I understand, Board Member, Armstrong's concern about making, I guess, comments about other districts and, other business in those districts. But I think in this particular case, our district is uniquely situated in the sense that, like, a lot of commuters come to our district daily for work, Monday through Friday. And that's not the same for other districts. And so this specifically addressed that. So I think while I understand what your concerns are, this is a little bit different. And I think that's why it's appropriate for our board to comment and vote on. Thank you.
All right, so I'll go ahead and end this up. So the Makiki area, the Kali, Lama area, the Liha area, these are our neighbors, as so is Alamoana, Lakako. Our board has a weird thing where it comes up, but then we get this L shape that goes out all the way into the water area. So we're not that far off from that area. And it is very intrusive. And so I'm going to support this, and I would hope that our board members will go ahead and support this. So our discussions are over. Do we have a motion to support this item? There'll be no follow-ups. Do we have a motion to go ahead? Go ahead, Sean.
Motion to support.
So,
Motion to adopt the resolution. Sorry.
okay. Do we have a second to adopt this resolution and support?
I'll second.
All right. We've already had our discussions. We're going to move straight. We used to do before. We're going to go ahead and call this to vote. We already discussed on the floor. Go ahead, move to vote.
Okay. Armstrong,
Sorry, Lindsay, nay.
was it me? Fitzsimmons,
Aye.
Isokane,
Aye.
Lai,
Abstain.
McCarney,
Aye.
McDonald,
Aye.
Schubert Quack,
Aye.
Sturgis,
Aye.
Chair,
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 no, 1 abstention. The motion is adopted.
All right. Thank you very much for supporting all our communities. Thank you. You have a good day. We have supported this. We'll pass it on to the city. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to, next up is Lee Stack with an update on research and projects for Chinatown Improvement Districts. I know there's been a lot of confusion on this board regarding the difference between Lee Stack's organizations, which is a private, not-for-profit organization, and the city and county's authorized BIDs. The later gets voted on and approved. The former is just a private organization that Lee Stack represents. Go ahead, Lee Stack.
So, good evening. Why I'm here is because it became clear the last time I spoke that there are some board members I felt who really didn't understand what we do and didn't know the history of our organization and the issues we work on. And I think it's important enough, and we've been doing it long enough, that I should come and brief the board and the public. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're a charitable organization. We're tax exempt. We work in the area formally since 2010. Up there, you can see some of our projects and programs. We do studies. We've done studies on graffiti. Excuse me. We've done research, seminars on historic preservation, partnerships with other community groups, outreach. We did outreach during COVID to encourage businesses that didn't speak English to apply for CARES Act funding. So we helped get word out to them with the Gateway Center. We've done community events, our Taste of Chinatown event up there. You can see our logo. We've also, in 2018, I believe, we started the Autumn Moon and Lantern Festival, and we've been doing that annually. We have publications that are up on our website. Some of them deal with the research we've done. Education, as I said, the seminars, advocacy. So we do advocacy. We've done special programs with cleanup days, as I mentioned, COVID outreach, and a security patrol program that we ran for about 2.5 years through COVID. Okay, next slide. So here's a list. It's also, I believe, on the OneDrive that has our list of our projects and programs through 2024. You can scroll down in the next screen. These are some of our signature projects. I'll bring up another picture of the Chinatown directory. Done a photo contest. Hanging planters on Hotel Street. They now hang ornaments and other things on Hotel Street. Chinatown upstairs was done with Historic Hawaii Foundation to feature upstairs businesses in Chinatown. Next slide, please. River Street Mural Project, which it turns out Better Block of Hawaii kind of finished in their own way. We brought the concept to them through Trust for Public Land. And that's the list. It should be on the website.
It is on the website.
Good. Next slide, please. So research and advocacy, I think here we have really brought to the attention of the city and the community things that really no one was looking at that we thought were important. Next slide, please. So one of them was to research the publicly owned property in Chinatown. So there you have it. Most of the orange, the really light orange are the parks. The darker orange are areas of Chinatown that were condemned in the 60s for affordable housing complexes. So we were the ones through this research that came up with the 40%. The city owns 40%. Basically, our public entities own 40% of the area in Chinatown district. Next slide. This is our signature directory of all the first floor businesses in Chinatown, along with ATMs, parking, where the markets are, restrooms, things like that. There's a lot of information in this directory that is really, I think, significant and shows a lot about Chinatown. You can see in the directory, there's something like 19 lay stands. They're listed, 10 traditional Asian medicine businesses that are listed. This shows that Chinatown is authentic. There are people using these services. It's not just a one curio traditional medicine shop for tourists. I mean, these are there because people are using them as businesses. And I wanted to suggest, if the board and other people really support advocating for Chinatown businesses, that they think about advocating for Oahu Market and its loading zones, because when Kekaliki Mall is extended down to where rail comes in, they're going to take away their loading zones. And that will severely impact those businesses. So these are things for people to think about. This directory, we're working with UH graduate students on an update. So we've been in discussions with them about this next slide, please. So this survey, we were asked, we weighed in on we worked on the River of Life issue for 2 years through emails, looking for solutions, looking for outcomes, 2 years with emails and discussions and meetings. And I think our biggest contribution to this was we started to emphasize the impacts on the community of the homeless individuals and services. And as I said to the mayor, in the only opportunity I had to speak with him, the reason for that is because it gave people a way to talk about the issue honestly without worrying that they were taking on the church or the homeless. And we got this this survey, it's published on our website. We got voluminous comments on it. So people really were happy to weigh in on the impacts. And after the survey, we were asked to draft a resolution for the neighborhood board, and we did. And one of your board members looked it over and helped edit it, and you folks passed it, Resolution 2020-012. And so we felt that, it was a really good outcome for the community and River of Life. Next slide, please. So business improvement districts, which I started to talk about last time because you had gotten a very positive outlook. Business improvement districts, as you see there, urban planning district, the urban planning journal. And I'll read the quote from it, because people don't seem to think that research was done. So Stacy Sutton wrote an article in the Columbia Journal of Planning, Education, and Research. Sutton concludes that BIDs may not always be the best policies for areas with significant levels of independent retail. The study also finds that in areas of the city with greater growth in independent businesses, both sales and employment declined significantly. All of this suggests that policymakers should tread lightly when promoting BIDs as a solution for urban economic development, especially in areas of significant independent retail presence. So I thought that was important for people to know because people that I have spoken with end up thinking that BIDs are sort of a silver bullet to solve all problems. And as you can see there, there's some of the issues that have been brought up in research, other people's research, in websites on the web, things they've mentioned. So I thought those were important too. At the bottom, if you can scroll up a little bit, it says, oops, additional taxation with little representation or accountability. Yeah, okay. Okay, next slide, please. So public policy and impacts, I thought I would mention this because we have done research on this as well, and it kind of came up in Bill 50 with Tommy Waters, who attempted to address what I think are some of the issues that also affect Chinatown, which is community impacts and the use of public resources, because public streets are public resources. And it says in the rules, DTS rules and other rules, they should be used for public purposes. And of course, because they're a public resource, there should be public access. And this was the problem that I read about with Tommy Waters, that there were community impacts and that they were concerned that a public resource, the public street, was being used for private gain. And I think this is one of the issues for Chinatown as well. So I wanted to talk about that because the government actually measures. They have measurements and criteria to measure public purpose and public purpose activities, because people can say anything about, well, it's economic development and it's revitalization and it helps all the businesses. But the government really has criteria to measure these things. And it's important to know that. So in the end, I would say that I think public policy is really important to go along with things that all of us do in the neighborhood to try to make the neighborhood better. And public policy is something that the city needs to provide for consistency, to regulate impacts, and to improve transparency and accountability, because this will improve the conditions in our neighborhood as well. I think that's it.
All right, thank you, Lisa. We do appreciate that. Do we have any comments from anyone in our public audience here at the library? All right, see none, hearing none, we'll go. Do we have anyone in the public first, that has any questions for Ms. Lee Stack? All right, not seeing none, hearing none, we're going to start off with our vice chair. First of all, Sean Fitzsimmons.
Thank you, Ms. Stack, for the presentation. I appreciate it. Thanks for the info. I think the confusion doesn't stem from what Chinatown Improvement District is intending to do. I think the confusion stems from your role as both a private landowner who speaks out and votes against events in Chinatown. And there's a confusion as to whether or not you're speaking independently as a private landowner or on behalf of the Chinatown Improvement District, right? And so there's a potential conflict of interest there. Lawyer guy here. I see that, just trying to figure that out. And so I'm unsure whether or not, if you're voting against certain things, if you're speaking on behalf of this district, and if you are, it's important to figure out who is part of the CID, like what businesses are part of it, what board members make up the CID, how many people comprise the CID. I have a nonprofit myself, I have a whole board, that's the confusion. It's not what you guys do. It's the potential conflict of interest as to when you speak, are you advocating on behalf of yourself as a private landowner, or are you advocating on behalf of CID?
Thank
Thank you.
So first of all, I never vote at the neighborhood board. I'm not voting. I'm commenting, right? Okay. If I get up and comment, I'm always commenting as an individual. I will make it clear if I'm commenting for the CID or I'm doing a CID report, which I do. So we do research on these issues, which is why there's a little bit of an overlap, but it's not a conflict. I don't see that as a conflict. We're not presenting a position on it. I'm presenting research that's been done on the issue.
Thank you.
But I will always identify if I'm speaking for the agent, for the organization, or I'm doing a report for the organization. Yes.
All right, next we have Secretary Yossi Sakani.
Hi, Lee. Thank you for coming here. I mean, look, regardless if we disagree on certain issues in the past or not, you're passionate, you're involved. So, we thank you for your involvement. We thank you for what your organization has done for us as well. I was very interested in your presentation, especially the information on the publicly owned, city-owned properties, because I always wondered that too. I think there's a bill out there. I think it's Bill 35, 2025, that will enable the city to actually empower them to have easier ways to lease city property. Are you advocating, or is your group advocating for that bill?
Not at this point. No. We'd have to do more research on it. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Next we'll go to Board Member Shulan Kwok.
Thank you, Chair. I've known Lee over the years and have participated in the Lantern Festival that she started. And I think it's one of the good ways for landowners and property owners to communicate and work with the public, and to also, as a landowner, has insight into the situation and problems that we face on properties that they lease out to tenants. So I see that on that perspective as well. And also, knowing Lee for all these years, I have always known her to be very open and not have any conflict of interest. I know that she opposes some of the liquor block parties because she was coming across
10
as
seconds, please.
property owner concerning about the liabilities. So I see it as that. I don't see her as advocating for her group against block
Right.
parties.
Thank you very much, Shulan. Board Member Lai, please.
Chair, thank you. Lee, thank you for your comments tonight. It's always good to get a refresher on who's who and what's what. 3 quick questions. Can you contrast for us how your organization is not like, or like, if any way, the Waikiki Improvement Association? Secondly, can you comment on the special downtown business improvement district? Would your group have any role in that? And then lastly, do you have any updates on what your team might be doing in or near the Riverwalk area?
So the Waikiki Improvement Association, first of all, it's an advocacy group. So it's closer to advocacy groups where it's a 501c4. They can lobby, they can influence politicians. We don't do that. We're a 501c3. So we can advocate. It's not primarily what we do. So we do other things like research and this and that, but we are different from them in that sense. And with groups in Chinatown in that sense. What was your second question? Yeah. Okay, that was that's being proposed to, I guess, widen the area for Fort Street Mall. No, we would not at this point be a part of it. They are talking about, at least what I heard, stopping kind of halfway or up to Nu'uanu. But from what I heard at the last board meeting, a lot of people were saying, well, bring it to Chinatown, bring it to Chinatown. Why don't you come over here? So I thought it was important for people to know the research we had done on BIDs, because Chinatown is a different animal. It doesn't have buildings that are 40 stories high, where those kind of taxes, those kind of additional fees can be spread over hundreds of thousands of square feet. So it has different considerations. And again, the city owns 40% of it, which Chulan has also pointed out. It's just a different animal. And the third one was Riverwalk. So we are now talking with, we're involved, but don't know the specifics. I'm about to hear more about what DTS is doing for Riverwalk. But we are participating in the a la Park Steering Committee that Trust for Public Land is steering. So we participate in that as stakeholders. And I speak as a stakeholder when I speak. It's not just as a landowner or this, that. I've been a business owner in Chinatown as well. So just so folks know.
Thank you. So we can keep these questions, answers brief. Go ahead, Board Member McDonald.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ms. Stack, for being here. I think we learned all a little bit more about the Chinatown Improvement District, including that it's a nonprofit, which I did not know myself. I just have a simple question. As a nonprofit, does the Chinatown Improvement District get any of its funding from the government? And if so, what government agencies give you funding?
We have gotten in the past, we operate on a very lean budget because we often speak independently of the city. And so the city provides us with hardly any money. I think one year we got a little bit of money for our Taste of Chinatown Festival. We received a small grant for our community patrol program. But all these things, the monitoring of them, the running of them, the personnel, nothing. We receive no monies.
All right.
To fund that.
All right. Thank you. There'll be no follow-up questions. This is just a presentation. So if you've already asked your question, I'm not coming back to anyone. We will be moving forward.
Okay.
Any other board members who haven't spoken that would like to say anything? No? All right. Thank you, Ms. Stack. We appreciate your presentation. Yeah? All right. Next, we'll be moving on to PBR Hawaii. On behalf of DTS, proposed fixed transit. The bus route changes in advance of the opening of the second phase of Skyline. On behalf of DTS, Dave Simpson will not be here, unfortunately, but in his place, Katie will be speaking and starting, I guess. All right. Thank you, Ms. Stack. Appreciate that.
Aloha and good evening, everyone. I'm not Katie. My name is Irene Bonao. I'm from the Department of Transportation Services, DTS. I'm also here with Pete Garino from DTS, and Katie Cullison is here in Dave's place, as you know. Thank you very much for the opportunity to let us share our ideas with you tonight. Katie is going to walk you through the bus service adjustments that are under consideration for this next segment of the Skyline opening, which is, as the mayor announced in his State of the City address, on October 1st this year. As the community leaders, you all have a better sense of what your community and your neighborhood is looking for, what they need with respect to public transportation. We're here tonight to receive your thoughts and concerns about what was shared and take that back to our department as we continue to evaluate these proposals. Ready, Katie?
Thank you, Irene. Thank you, board, for making time for this presentation. I'm a consultant with PBR Hawaii, and we're supporting the Department of Transportation Services with community engagement through these bus service change considerations leading up to the next opening of Skyline, the next phase opening. So the purpose, as Irene pointed out, is to just prepare some, or to share some proposed changes that are under consideration, get your feedback on it tonight, and I'll share a website link, an email address, pardon me, where you could leave additional comments later if anything comes to mind. So without further ado, on the slide that you're seeing here and the following slide show the stations that have opened with phase 1 of Skyline. And then on the following slide, you'll see that the next phase opening October 1 will extend Skyline to Middle Street, right? So we've all seen that in the news. The bus, DTS, Department of Transportation Services, and their team are making changes to accommodate rail extensions and increasing bus hours to improve services to riders. And what you'll see on this slide in the text there are some kind of phased openings and changes to bus services that began back in March. There's another series of changes that are under consideration now that I'm going to share with you, aimed for October. And then we're going to preview a couple of additional changes that DTS is considering in the nearest future. All in all, I wanted to also point out to this last bullet point that overall bus hours are intended to be increased with these proposals by approximately 3%. And we did a calculation, and that comes to about 40,000 additional bus service hours if, you know, all these changes go forward. So we can move on to the next slide, and I'll just talk through the first phase of route changes that were adjusted in March with routes were restructured to provide service to Skyline, and a new route was added at that time to get riders from Eva Beach to the UH West Oahu station. So the first phase of changes to routes just moved folks and routes to UH West Oahu station. So that happened in March. That's on that slide. And then you can advance to the next slide, where we're going to introduce a series of changes that are under consideration that we're looking for community feedback on now. On the next slide, you'll see a diagrammatic image that kind of shows you a representation of how the Skyline can integrate with bus service to make a more seamless network, where you have a core of rapid buses that make limited stops with feeder buses then in the neighborhoods to serve localized service. So what you're seeing here is how these commuter lines can connect into Skyline to make a more efficient rider for commuters back into our business centers and faster for the riders that choose to use them. So going into some specific route changes that are under consideration, starting on the next slide and the one after. These are kind of before and after slides. This first slide that you see on the screen shows the current A line. You can see that it extends all the way west to the Pearl Ridge station. And then on the following companion slide that follows this, you'll see that the A line is under consideration to terminate at Lagoon Drive. The hours of service you can see on this table are proposed to be expanded to run later into the night, and there's no change in frequency of service. So the point here that we wanted to share is when lines like this, like the A, are truncated, it frees up more buses for improvement service or in service improvement elsewhere on the island. So that's the proposed A line changes. The next slide and the one that follows show a new W line that's proposed to be added to replace Route 20. So first on this slide, what you'll see is the dash line that represents the 20 as it is now. And you can see how it has some overlap with a Skyline service. So the new W that's proposed to connect Skyline at the airport, you'll see in the written text in the tables on the screen that hours of service are actually expanding to add earlier mornings, but then would still be running late into the night for people who work in Waikiki. There'll also be greater frequency of service, giving riders more flexibility in planning their commutes and with fewer stops. So you can go to the next slide and it'll show that W line that I was just talking about there. Right. And then on this slide, perfect. On this slide, there's just a little more detail about how we're considering making some changes to that line, where you can see close up in the airport, there are some potential routing changes right around the airport. And then downtown, wanted to draw to your attention that this line is under consideration to run along Nimitz rather than through the downtown core. So that's the box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You can see the proposed line that's like aqua blue on this screen running along Nimitz Highway, as opposed to the 20 that circulates through the central business district. So then if you can advance to the next slide, we can share another route that's under consideration for addition to the system. This would be a U line that runs from Mapunapuna to UH Manoa on weekdays. This would allow anyone on the west side to catch Skyline and then hop onto a limited stop bus that would get them to the Manoa campus. The frequency of this route is proposed to be every hour, with extra trips during the AM and PM peaks. So that's a new route that's under consideration that we'd love to hear from you on. And then we can move to the next slide that discusses potential changes to Route 303, which would be potentially replaced with a new route called 331. And this is going to be a series of 2 slides again. On the first slide, what you're seeing here is how the 303 runs parallel and has some redundancy with Skyline Rail. And then on the next slide, you can see how the 303 is proposed to continue serving the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam and then feed into Skyline. The purpose for this change is to improve runtime for riders. On the next slide, it's a quick overview of routes 40, 42, and 51. These are some existing bus routes that are proposed to connect to Skyline at Lagoon Drive rather than further out at Stadium. And then the slide also points out that the Wahiawa Route 51 will also stop at Pearl Highlands. So it'll continue that stop. Then the final proposed change that we'd like to share with you today for the October 1st opening is a route 46, proposed route 46, and that's on the next slide. There we go. Sorry, proposed route changes. The frequency right now for this route, it runs from Kapolei to UH West Oahu, is every 10 minutes. And we're proposing to change that to an every 15-minute route to better meet the demand that's out there for this route. So those are the series of routes that are under consideration at this time that we would love to get your feedback on. We're also going to preview a couple of other route ideas that are under consideration and would welcome your feedback on these as well. So on the next slide, you can see kind of that graphic overview. Sorry, this was the segue on. There we go. A graphic overview of kind of how these different commuter lines can feed into Skyline for a more efficient ride. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about proposed C and E lines. The first one is that I'd like to preview is a C line that currently runs all the way from Makaha into town. And instead, this one could run to UH West Oahu, where riders could get off the bus, get out of traffic on Skyline for the rest of their commute. And so the point here is for these commuters to have fewer stops and get out of traffic. Another route that is under consideration for change is the E line that currently runs into town. But this one could be reconceptualized to run Malcolm Mackay from Eva Beach up to Wahiawa and then connect everybody in between to the Skyline to proceed townbound. So those are a couple of previews that we wanted to share in advance as well and get some early feedback on. So this is the thank you slide, and I just want to verbalize for anybody that has any difficulty seeing that comments and questions can be addressed to an email address, thebusstop@honolulu.gov. We'd like to hear from riders on the proposed changes and seeking comments no later than July 15th. We'll be documenting comments here tonight, and if you think of something after the meeting, later, you are more than welcome to send an email to this address, thebusstop@honolulu.gov. Thank you.
All right, no, thank you for the presentation. I do appreciate it. So we'll start in our libraries. Anyone in the public wish to address this? Go ahead, Senator Rose, go ahead. Yes, you do.
Honolulu Tower, which of course is on a block where there's 4 towers, and the 20 stops right at the corner of Smith and Veritania there. I'm assuming you have data on how many people get on that block, but it will be if there are a lot of people getting on at that block, it will be very inconvenient. Well, not very. It's 3 blocks instead of 50 feet, but it would be more inconvenient to have it on Nimitz. And I don't, on Nimitz, I mean, obviously one side is the harbor, so there's nobody living over there, but it will be more convenient for like Marin Tower and Chinatown Gateway. But I'm just curious if the numbers justify keeping it on Veritania, I could see where there would be people who would be unhappy to see it go. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Do we have anyone else in our library who would like to say anything? I see none. I see any. We're going to go to our public online. Anyone in the public online who wishes to say anything? All right. I am not seeing anyone. I believe the Vice Chair, Sean Fitzsimmons, will start off with the board members. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. I guess the most pertinent, as Senator Rose pointed out, a pertinent slide that applies to us would be the proposed Route 20 W line amendments. It looks like that you guys are eliminating a lot of bus services to our district with this proposed amendment, which I can't agree with. Our district specifically services a lot of elderly people. Walking is not the easiest thing for a lot of people to do, especially the people that catch the bus. And our community is really dependent on the bus to get people from point A to point B. And so expecting them to walk from Nimitz all the way up through, their apartment, like 3 blocks or more, I think is totally inconsiderate to the elderly community that uses the bus there. Also, it's uphill, you know what I mean? Slightly uphill. It's not the easiest thing. I think of my mother, and she rides the bus all the time, and she walks around downtown, and that would be, terribly inconvenient for her as well as people that are like her. Thanks.
Go ahead, board member Armstrong had his hand up first. We'll go with him first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This would be interesting to find out, but I don't think anybody rides the bus as much as I do because it's my only form of transportation since I gave up a vehicle 7 years ago. I too am very concerned, not only, by the way, is PBR a marketing company?
Oh, no, we're planners
Oh,
and
planners.
landscape
Okay.
architect.
Thank you.
Based here in Honolulu.
That sounds better. Any changes to 20 is going to be a big public relations gambit. And I have never been on that bus where it wasn't just jammed. And of course, there's luggage from tourists, but we're going to have to really, really think about the changes on 20. And yeah, it seems like some of those changes are awfully far away. And also, too, we've got to have an alternative to the rail from the airport. So I just hope that doesn't evolve away. Last comment or question, or last comment.
Right, 10 seconds, go ahead.
If you remember, Chair, this board voted about 2 or 3 years ago for quarterly reports from DTS, and I know you're not representative of DTS, and they have steadfastly refused. So I'm just so happy that for once we have a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because the public needs to hear from DTS.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, board member Isakani.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I will echo the other board members' concerns here. Look, I, like many Honolulu residents, didn't want this rail to begin with. A lot of us, a lot of our constituents depend on the bus. It's our commute. To have to cross a very busy Nimitz highway, that seems very, very, very inconvenient. Frankly, if we want to be a transit-oriented community, we can't take away and make things more inconvenient for our riders. We have to add convenience. We have to add stops. We have to add, we just have to make public transportation multimodal even better. So to take things away, that's going to be something I'm going to oppose in the future hearings that we have. So thank you.
All right, and next I believe we have board member Shulan Shubakwak. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay, I echo Ross and Sean for the concerns because I do live in Chinatown and I see the buses. I see how much they're needed. So if you're going to increase more buses on Nimitz and also on Vineyard, that would be great. Because right now, in this Chinatown district, Hotel Street is very needed. Multiple buses and people come in to shop is good. So don't take the convenience away. Please add more services like to Nimitz and to Vineyard.
Right. Thank you, Shalon Shubert Kwok. Next, I believe we had board member Lai with your hand up.
Chair, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. PBR, you mentioned working with DTS in a consultory capacity, or are you helping DTS make decisions? And to what degree is money involved in making these proposed swaps as far as ridership and revenue? Secondly, from PBR, they were here 2020 and 2021 talking a lot about the Liliha Convention Center. Do you have any updates on that, or is that outside of your scope at PBR? Thirdly, is the email on the last slide, thebusstop@honolulu.gov, is that something we can send questions about bus issues that are not part of your presentation tonight as well? Thank you.
All right, thank you. If you know, if you can answer this question, you can now.
Okay.
Or you can wait. It's up to you. I'm gonna give her that.
I'd rather try to answer them now because they're stacking up.
Go ahead.
So PBR Hawaii, yeah, we're planners here in Honolulu. And yes, we did work on, or we have been working on the Liliha Civic Center project. I was not on that team, so I could tell you a limited amount of information that the EIS was published. And so that's a matter of public record. So you can check out a lot more in that document if you're up for reading it. And that's probably as much as I could share on that project. In terms of the revenue implications, we could probably come back with more information. I don't know that I could speak to that point at depth right now myself. And then I think you had a preliminary question just about our role as planners. So our role in the team is to support with community engagement. The team that's involved with making the different considerations includes consultants that specialize in transit service and do this kind of work all over the country. And so they're working together with DTS staff. We're on board as a local consultant that can just connect with people. We know the place names and, you know, can just help get out the word as best we can based on our, 50 years of practice.
All right,
here.
so if we can make this more direct and quick responses, yeah? Because anything else, we can always get back to us, yeah? All right?
And then the email address, yes, you can leave other general things. That's okay. That's, I think, the generic address. Okay, and these guys want to jump in and answer some of the other questions. I just wanted to thank everyone for the comments about Route 20, and we noted them down here. And so this is what we are doing here is exactly what is intended with this outreach, is to hear your concerns and then take it back to the team. So thank you so much.
Okay.
I think the DPS folks might have some more technical responses.
So we're not going to go into much of that, but I'll give them a chance to do that. But before you go, I'm going to echo Ross Iscani, Sean Fitzsimmons, Board Member Armstrong, and everyone else who wants to support. The number 20, if you take that away, you're going to lose me. You guys already lost me when you guys took the A. You took an A train that went through Kalihi, through the heart of Kalihi and King Street, then went all the way into Waipahu, and you destroyed that. Kalihi and Waipahu share something in common. The Filipino community, it kept us together, and it's always been there. Then when you took the C train and stopped it where you did today, that means I had to find another route to get to see my aged mother in Kapolei, because C train used to pass not too far from my house where I could walk in. So I'm not happy about the way you folks are doing things. You guys are taking not gonna walk all the way from Rarotonga all the way to Nimitz, yeah? It's gotta stop. That's just a thing, just my opinion. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and finish up with you guys now, okay?
Yep.
You don't have to answer me now, because we're short on time.
Yep. So, and quickly, just on the money question, we certainly do look at ridership and fare box recovery of all the routes. And we got this question at the other neighborhood board. What are you trying to maximize? And the answer is, for every dollar of subsidy we get, because we all know the bus gets a subsidy every year, we're trying to move the most number of people as far as we can. Now, at some points, we do look at that of different communities. We want to make sure we don't strand anybody and they have transit service, but generally we're trying to be efficient with the dollars of subsidy that we get.
All right, no, thank you. Do appreciate you folks' presentation. I believe you folks going to have further work to do to gain the trust of the people.
Just one more, just for clarification on the email. So yes, the bus stop at honolulu.gov, it's not just for feedback on this phase 2, anything dealing with the buses. You can send it to that email.
No problem. I do appreciate your time. Trust me. Thank you very much, Katie, for standing in for Dave. I do appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Thank you. It was very informative. Thank you very much.
Chair,
All right.
point of clarification, did we need a name for the last speaker or the second to last speaker? There, the gentleman, did we
Yeah.
get his name on
Peter
record?
Garino. Peter Garino with DTS.
Thank you so much.
My apologies.
No problem. Yeah, from DCS. All right. Next up, we have Kawai Hao Ekomomai Kako. Open house, May 4th, 2025, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Presented by Andrew Dahlberg. Andrew, are you online?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'd just like to take a moment and invite people to the open house that we're going to have at Kwai Hao. It'll be at 11 this Sunday. We are trying to be more engaged in the community. We want to be a good neighbor. That's why we're here. We hope you can attend. We have some ongoing programs. Every Friday we do a food share with the neighborhood. Anybody can come to that. We also have a enhanced fitness program for the with the YMCA 3 days a week at the church as well. But we're interested in partnering, seeing how we can make the community better, and appreciate the chance to share that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anyone in the community have any questions for Mr. Dahlberg? No, not hearing none, or seeing none. Anyone online has any questions? No, we'll go ahead and move to the board members. We'll go ahead and start with Shulan Shubert-Kwok.
Oh, no, I don't have a question.
Okay, pull your hand down, please. Any other board members has a question on here? Nope. All right, so first of all, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Dahlberg. I do have everything online, and I've been participating more with the community with what they've been doing, and I appreciate it because they do a lot in the community and have helped us a lot. So anyone in the community, if you have a chance, please check it out. There'll be food, dance, and everything else going on. Enjoy it. Thank you. Food, hula, and other things going on. All right. Thank you, Andrew Dahlberg. Appreciate that. Next, we're going to move to public concerns. There's 2 minutes each regarding an issue not listed on the agenda. We're going to start with anyone in our library. Anyone in the library wants to talk about public concerns? Not hearing none, not seeing none. Next, we'll go ahead and move on to online. Anyone online? All right, not seeing none, not hearing none. We're going to move on from public concerns, and we're going to move on to our elected officials. Priority is always given to elected officials or representatives that are physically present at the meeting. All right, so that means we're going to go ahead and start off with the governor's representative, Stephen Downs.
Hello, I filed my report and answers to questions. Do you have any other questions for me?
Okay, so anyone online that has any questions for Governor's Representative Stephen Downs? No? Anyone in our library? Nope. So we'll go ahead and start off with the board members. I believe Board Member McDonald was first.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much for being here. My question, I recently learned that the state of Hawaii is participating in a lawsuit against the federal government concerning fossil fuels and trying to prevent fossil fuels, and also somehow trying to blame fossil fuels for the tragedy in Maui last year. My question for the governor really is, what is he trying to accomplish? What is the state trying to accomplish with this? And does he not think that fuel and energy prices are already expensive enough that we need to burden the fossil fuel industry and increase the price of energy to our constituents by pursuing avenues that will only increase the cost of energy to our citizens of this fine state?
All right. Any other board members? Board Member Isokani, please.
Hi, Mr. Downs. I wanted to ask about the last second HECO bailout bills. I know the governor put out a comment, I think, earlier saying he was looking at the proposal. Well, now it's been passed, I guess. He was going to comb it over very closely. I guess I'm just looking to, hopefully he's had a chance to comb it over, the last second additions with the liability caps from the PUC. I just want to get his thoughts if he's going to sign it. And relatedly, what is he doing to make sure the PUC is actually doing its job? Protecting our interests from this government-sponsored monopoly that, by the way, results in us paying the highest rates of electricity in the nation, number one. And secondly, making us suffer, unfortunately, through devastating wildfires, as well as just crippling small business power outages. Kind of feels like a lot's been happening. So just wondering his perspective on this bill. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Board Member Schubert Kwok, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say a few things about what happened after this year's legislature. And then I am really happy that several things passed by our legislature, and I want also to congratulate Senator Rhodes for enforcing increasing act, which will help our homeless in Chinatown. And the other things that I wanted to say that I was happy to hear was the extra money for housing. Homelands were given properties to the long waiting Hawaiians, and also the green tea pass. These are all good things that will help our Hawaii. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you. Any other board members? Board Member Lai, please.
Chair, thank you. Mr. Downs, I know you may have answered this in the past that I've asked. I didn't see it in the recent reports from your desk, but do you know when and if the Aloha Tower observation deck might be opening? And then secondly, as far as the earlier requests or questions about the noise monitoring through the whole speed camera system, I know you mentioned that there was a contract that might be underway. Is there any update to that process? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any other board members who have any other questions? All right. Not seeing none, I want to thank you very much for your time. You have a great day. See you next month. Thank you. Next that was in the room would be Senator Rhodes. Go ahead, Senator Rhodes.
Hello, everyone. Session has not yet ended. It ends tomorrow, but fortunately, I don't have to prepare for a hearing tomorrow, and so that's why I'm here. I did pass 10 bills this year. I put that in my report. I won't go through all of them. I'll just mention a couple. One of them that's very specifically affects neighborhood boards. That's SB 405. This allows neighborhood boards to discuss and receive information on third-party reports from government officials, even if the report isn't on the public agenda. If the board wants to make a decision on issues raised in that third-party report, then you'd have to give notice and do it your next meeting. But I was concerned that the way that the law had been interpreted was that people like me could come in and talk to you, but we wouldn't be able to field any questions, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a neighborhood board. So I expect the governor to sign that, but that has made it all the way through. Let's see, there's one other one. Oh, well, the other one that I wanted to mention was one that's already became law. Governor Green signed it a couple of weeks ago, and it was Senate Bill 112. This bill allows immediate family members of persons whose deaths were investigated by law enforcement to receive the police department's closing report after a certain period of time. So you have to balance the privacy rights of individuals and the interests of law enforcement, but because of course heavy duty crimes like murder and continuing sex assault of a minor are zero statute of limitations. So theoretically, they're always open, but families do need closure on issues like that. And so this bill has passed and governor has signed it into law. So happy to answer other questions, but those are the ones I wanted to highlight.
Okay. Start with everyone in the public library and our school library. Anyone here have any questions for Senator Carr Rhodes? Not seeing any or hearing none. Anyone online in the public have any questions for Senator Carr Rhodes? Not hearing none, seeing none. I'm gonna assume that you guys just put your hands up there for board members. So we're going to the board members. So we start off with Shulan Shuberquak. Did you just put your board up? So you just load your hand. We're going to go to board member Lai.
Chair, thank you. Senator, thanks for coming tonight. 3 quick questions. Was Bill 405 related at all to the effort that came from the Neighborhood Commission to carve sunshine law out of some portions of discussions with either the commission and or our boards? I don't know if those are related or separate. Secondly, do you recall any what happened to Senate Concurrent Resolution 121 about gambling? I testified about that at the committee. And then lastly, I finally figured out why we were hearing about little fire ants at our meetings here was because Neighborhood Board 12 has questions about little fire ants. And I think maybe there's some overlap on the prior reports. That just led to some confusion on our board.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
405. So on 405, I'm aware of a broader effort to exclude bigger chunks or to more fully exclude neighborhood boards from the Sunshine Law as a political matter in the legislature. I didn't think I would be able to get that passed, even if I thought it was a good idea. So those two efforts sort of went along parallel to each other. Where I got the idea was from your neighboring board up the valley. Patrick Smith, the chair up there, was concerned about it and the way that the law had been interpreted. Let's see. I'm already forgotten the middle one. Little Red Fire Ants and I can look it up. I don't remember. If you want, I can step aside and after I'm done and just tell you if that's okay.
Yeah.
Little Red Fire Ants. Yeah, I mean, the problem with the Little Red Fire Ants is if they get established, they're hard to get rid of. And so I wanted to be sure to pass along the information to everybody to just, if you see them, yeah, there is things you can do, and it's a lot easier to deal with them early.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So whatever you can answer, you can send in the report. Yeah, next time.
Okay.
Okay. Board member Armstrong, please.
Thank you, Chair. A follow up on that gambling bill that you don't call. What are you doing? Okay, you always make me be quiet. Anyways, where do you think the support for that came? Because it certainly went further than ever, and it sure feels to me a little bit corporate. Just was wondering what's your take on that. Number 2, I'd like to ask you about the huge defeat, I think it was yesterday, on your resolution or your law to change assault rifles. I'd like you to speak on that. And then number 3, and this is really important for our neighborhood. Just recently, Hawaii Theater had an insurance issue, and there was also other arts funding. Can you talk to us about the state of those bills at this point? Because we're very concerned.
Okay. Yes, I can. I may have to ask you the questions again because the gambling thing. So the gambling bill itself died, and I'm just looking at the SCR 121, and it is, what is the status?
It died on Friday, I believe it was.
I think the See.
But what do you think was behind it? Because it sure went further than before.
Yeah, the SCR 121 did pass, so that, but that's just it's not a law, it's a sense of the legislature about the topic. But that one's still going, and that one says requesting DBED to convene a tourism and gaming working group. So that will be moving forward. I mean, there's been efforts to move it out for a long time. I mean, Joe Suki, former speaker, was famous for trying to get gaming into the state. Well, my role has been that I've been opposed to gambling, and gambling bills typically come to the Judiciary Committee, and so I've killed that same bill like 5 years in a row. This year, people and members of leadership wanted to see it move, and so they cut me out of the referral, and it went as far as it did. But in the end, there just wasn't enough support for it. So I don't really know. I'm not sure anything really was different. It was just a different routing, just different internal routing. Yeah. Oh, assault rifles. So yes, yesterday my bill would have, it wouldn't have banned assault rifles. Anyone that you owned already, it was grandfathered, still legal. The big thing that it would have done was reduce, right, for years, since 1992, the pistols have a 10-round limit for the magazines, but there's no limit for long guns. So, and you can get a 100-round canister for like $120. And the problem with that, from my perspective, is that, well, the AR-15 types, AR-15 is a specific gun. It's a Armalite, but there's a lot of them that are civilian copies of M16s from the military, only they're semi-automatic, not automatic. Anyway, a lot of mass shooters use them. The guy in Vegas who killed 60 people in 10 minutes, he had 14 assault rifles, and he had a number of 100-round canisters. So the police have the best chance of taking somebody down like that when they reload. So my bill would say we're just going to make it 10 rounds for everybody for long guns and pistols. That failed by 1 vote yesterday, and it is what it is. I mean, it's very popular. It's one of the most popular bills I've ever introduced. It's like 75% of the state approves of it, but my colleagues were not convinced. So
Last was the arts.
Oh yeah. So Hawaii Theater, I did put on a reso, and I don't remember whether it made it all the way through or not, but it authorizes the state to buy Hawaii Theater and then have it operated privately. And I'm not sure. I'll have to check. I don't even remember after a few hundred bills, you can't remember all the bill number and bills and reso numbers. There was $100,000 given to the Downtown Arts Center that came through on a grant and aid request.
All right, thank you. Next, we're going to go ahead and move to Board Member McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator Rhodes, for finally being here. I had a question. I found it interesting that you had a question and concern for the representative from PBR, yet for the entire legislative session, you did not appear before this committee even one time so that we could ask the people, the people that you work for, could ask questions of you in the same manner. My question for you is, with drug abuse and the crimes associated with it still being the #1 issue of concern in this community, what bills specifically did you sponsor, since you do work for this community? What bills specifically did you sponsor to address this issue?
Well, I've worked for years on the mental illness part, the assisted community treatment. I'm quite sure I was a sponsor of SB 1322, and it moves that whole situation forward. For the mentally ill, and it applies to those who are addicted to drugs as well, but you know, they're not living their best life being left out on the street, and this would allow the underlying bill allows the if a family court judge to instead of sending them to the state hospital as a involuntary commitment, to order a medical program, and that's a big deal. And we've the other part of that, 1322 is tweaking that to make it more efficient. But we also passed a bill on reimbursements for guardians ad litem, which are automatically included in the process and which are supposed to look out for the best interest of the patient. I can't remember the bill number on that one, but I'm pretty sure that was mine too. So yeah, I live in Chinatown. I know, and I've answered the question about not being here before. I mean, my first duty during the legislative session is to the legislature, and on most Fridays I have a hearing that I'm preparing for. So I don't have one tomorrow, so I'm here.
Next, we have Board Member Isakani.
Thank you, Chair. Each board member speaks for himself. I think you do a great job representing or sending a representative because not everyone does that. So thank you for at least always having a presence here. We do ask you tough questions, so thank you for being here in person. I'm going to ask you another tough question.
Okay.
It's on House Bill 371, the contractor pay-to-play bill. I mean, you talked about bills that are very popular with Honolulu residents. I'm going to say this is one of the most popular. I'm going to guess that if we polled, it would be 99% of us would agree that pay-to-play corruption, graft is an issue. Listen, I get it. Money chairs, ledge leaders. I just got to ask. I mean, you're the Senate Judiciary Chair. The legislature is not even subject to sunshine law. So how could we not have known, or how could you have not known that this was happening until the very last second? Surely you must have known this was coming.
Well, actually, I didn't. My counterpart in the House is David Tarnas, the chair of the Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Committee over there, and we had, right all through the session, we had been motoring along on a bill to do exactly what you're talking about, which is already contractors are not allowed to donate, but often the contractors are corporations, and we allow corporate donations in Hawaii, and those are prohibited. What this bill would have done would have expanded the people who couldn't contribute to the immediate family members of officers, I believe, or I think it was officers that we finally, there was various versions of it, but that was, I think, what we were coming down to. And we also added people who were recipients of GIAs to that under a certain threshold, because there's the really small contracts, there's just tons and tons of them. It's very difficult to keep track. So right at the end, like we were already I'm lapsing into legislative jargon. At the end of if the bill isn't exactly the same from the House and the Senate, you have to have a conference committee to work out the differences. So you're sending just the one version up to the governor. There were other members of the legislature who got involved in it, and they didn't want it to be as robust as what Tarnas and I wanted, and they managed to kill it. So that's what happened. Tarnas has already indicated he wants to take it up again next year, and I will be doing that with him.
All right. Anyone else that hasn't spoken? All right. Not seeing any. I want to thank you for everything you did for us and are doing for us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good evening.
You have a good day. Thank you. Next, we're going to go ahead and we'll move on to Congressman Ed Case representative. Not seeing him. One more time. Ed Case representative. We're going to do it third time. Ed Case representative. No answer. He's out. Next is Mayor Rick Blanziarti's representative, Ian Sante. Ian Sante just sent me an email that Ian Sante cannot make it. He is still at the mayor's town hall. Okay? So he will not be able to make it. He is still stuck at the mayor's town hall. Okay. Next, we have City Council District Tyler dos Santos. Jackson, are you there?
Hi, calling in.
Go ahead, Jackson, and let's keep this to the point, please. Thank you.
Yeah, just reporting for duty. I believe you sent me an email saying that I shouldn't speak beyond the report that I submitted to you guys, but I'm all ears to take any questions.
All right. Yes. Okay. I didn't hear you. All right. So I know, your report has been submitted and it is in the Google Drive. All right. So anyone online in the public have any questions? Not seeing any. Anyone in our audience have any questions for Jackson? Not seeing any. Board members. Board member Armstrong, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just a really quick question, Jackson, is do you know if there's any further clarification of the latest on Kamaili Mini Park and the bids that the city solicited. I understand from Tyler that there were some properties that were looking to be established there, including a halfway house of some sort.
I'm not familiar on the current status, but I will look into it and get back to you.
We'll look forward to that next month. Thank you.
All right. Any other board members? Go ahead, board member McDonald.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Truesdale, for being here. I am concerned about our roads, as I have been for several months now. We have learned that Hawaii and Honolulu is on pace now to double its traffic-related deaths this year. I know of in the last 2 to 3 weeks, there have been 4 deaths, and 3 of them were related to 2-wheeled vehicles. I'm holding up my helmet now to show I also ride a 2-wheeled vehicle, and our roads are absolutely in atrocious shape. Now, it's very common for the city council to blame traffic laws and sidewalks and speed limits and these things. And this is not the case. Our roads are atrocious. What is being done to improve and inspect the state of our roads? I know you like to put speed bumps on our highways, and it turns out that the only part of our highways that's not riddled with potholes are the speed bumps. So you can't go fast on the highways anyway. We have hole covers.
Question.
We have
Do you have any
manhole covers.
particular roads in mind?
We have, was that?
Do you have any particular roads in mind that come to mind?
Sure. Dillingham Boulevard, pretty
Oh,
much the entire length of it. Nimitz Highway, all through Chinatown, Ward.
So we're gonna go ahead and close this out
King
because you have a minute. So
manhole covers.
Close it down, please.
I got you. Manhole covers are 2 inches below the street surfaces. These are man-made potholes. The steel plates, half of them aren't even being used.
Okay, close it out, please.
Who was inspecting them and what is doing to improve them? Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Okay. Any other board members? Board member Kevin Lai, please.
Thank you, Chair. Jack, just to follow up on a comment that was made earlier about Kamali'i Mini Park development. Is it disingenuous for the city to list Kamali'i Mini Park as a potential dog park while at the same time already having fielded solicitations from developers to develop the same place? I mean, I saw that and kind of laughed, but is that the only saving grace that might keep that area from being developed, as if it does become a dog park? It just seems like we got left-hand, right-hand issues. If you could let us know some detailed answers next month, appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
All right. Board member Isakani, thank you. Board member Lai, board member Isakani.
Hey, Jack, thanks for being online. So listen, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam is doing a really great job, doing a lot for our community. I just want to be clear, though, it's our board's job to continuously hold feet to the fire and get them to do more. So even though I really appreciated Councilmember Dos Santos Tam's work on the budget committee with Bill 46, the empty homes tax, I want to ask about the short-term vacation rental ban. What is he doing and what is the city doing to try to enforce this? I want to ask about the related Judge Watson ruling with the STVR ban. Effectively, the legislature passed a bill, I believe, to try to give more power to the council. So I'm just curious if Tyler can give us an update, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam can give us an update on where's this, what's the next steps, I guess, now that everything is falling into place.
All right. Thank you. Any other board members? Hearing none, seeing none, I'm going to finish this up. As far as the STDRs, I'd like to know what our council member is doing about all the Airbnbs that are now being built in that Bishop Tower that we have on 4th Street. It's causing a lot of problems. So I've got a lot of complaints, a lot of emails from residents in that area complaining about all these Airbnbs going in there and complaints about prostitution happening up there and drug deals and all that. So I'd like him to address that. All right. That's the main thing that I would like council member to address at this point. Other than that, I believe that's all everybody else has to say. Oh, one more thing. He needs to address the Kamali Park, and as far as Mr. Armstrong and Mr. Lai, I actually probably have more information right now that I'll let you guys know about later, okay? Thank you. Thank you, Jack. You have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we're gonna go up with State House 625, Kim Coco Iwamoto. Is Katie Ozawa here?
Not Kate, but Colby, the legislative aide.
Oh,
I'm here
Colby,
today. Kate.
is Kate still sick?
Yeah, she is actually. She got sick. Like again, she lost her voice. But yeah, I'm the ledge aide, so tomorrow's my last day, so you won't see me again. But yeah, Rep. Yomoto had a very eventful first session. I'm sure if you watched, you saw her speak up on a lot of things. She ultimately co-introduced 34 bills that ended up passing. She was also very excited about the survey results that you all probably received from the mailers we sent. So we got 593 responses, 460 of which we could confirm were residents from the addresses that they listed. And I'm going to share this Canva sort of link that shows like a visual breakdown of all the controversial issues and where people landed on them. But yeah, if you have any questions, I can take them back to her tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll start off with anybody, two gentlemen in our room today. Hearing none, seeing none. Anyone online? Hearing none, seeing none. Any board members? Board member Isakane, please.
Yeah, a question that hopefully you can take back to the representative. Look, to her credit, she warned us about the power of the money chairs and what they could do to unilaterally kill bills. She warned us, and now we're listening because they killed a lot of really important ones. So maybe my question and my request for Representative Iwamoto, you got our attention now. Can you give us some very specific instructions on which rule is the problem? Like point it out to us, maybe propose some language for us to change and tell us whose door we need to go pounding on to get this fixed. Thank you.
All right. Any other board members? Any questions? No, not hearing none, not seeing none. Thank you very much. Oh, I didn't see you.
No, I was last minute.
Go ahead, Mr. McDonough.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. I know our legislative session is nearly closed. I wonder if the representative would consider legislation for the next session that would include a line item veto for the governor.
Sounds like something up her alley. I'll take it back to her.
Okay, all right, thank you. I actually like that one. All right, so seeing no one else, thank you very much, and you have a good evening, and enjoy it. Tomorrow is the last day of session, right? Yeah, so they'll be having a good night, good day. All right, next we're going to move on to quarterly reports. No, yes, I'm sorry, I missed them. Next we have Daniel Holt. Daniel Holt once. Daniel Holt twice. Daniel Holt 3 times. He's been sending in me reports. I didn't get a report this time because he probably was busy with the legislature closing out. Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to our quarterly reports. We'll start off with Board and Water Supply. Iris Oda, you are online. Please go ahead, and can we keep this all to straight, fast, and to the point, everyone? Thank you.
Yes. Sorry, I'm out sick. But so I have my 3 reports that are on the Google Drive. April, that's on there, says the city launches H&L alert for emergency notifications. Please go to that handout and see the information about it. The May report is about our summer water conservation tips. So go to that flyer, and you can always go to boardofwatersupply.com/7 ways to get more information about conserving water. And the third thing that should be on the site is Member Fitzsimmons in February's meeting asked a question about the short-term rental and the water, and I have a response to that on the site. So if he wants me to read it now, if not, it's just it's there for him. And that's all for my report.
All right. We'll go ahead and start with anyone in our library want to say anything. Hear none, not seeing none. Anyone online have anything for Board and Water Supply? Not hearing none, seeing none. We'll go ahead and start off with Board Member McDonald, then followed by Board Member Lai. Go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you again for being here. We just learned recently, a few months ago, that the Board of Water Supply intends to double its water rates or sewage rates, something that would double our water bills over the course of the next 10 years. And we saw very, very enthusiastic opposition to this from our community, and I'm sure the other communities as well. What is the Board of Water Supply actively doing after hearing the community's resistance to this idea? What are they actively doing to try to stop that from happening, or at least reduce the amount of the rate increases from what will end up being more than double the current rates over the next 10 years? And keeping in mind that Honolulu already charges more than any other city in the nation for its water already.
Okay. If I understand correctly, you mentioned water or sewer. The sewer, the environmental services is the one that's coming to the neighborhood boards, giving their rate study and their presentation for the rates. We're water, not sewer. So we had our presentation and our rates presented to you a few years ago. So yeah, we're not doubling our rates. It's not that we never did increase it. We did increase our rates about over, I want to say 60% over 6 years. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to say the wrong number. So if you want to know our water rates over the next few years, I can present that to you next month, or sorry, in 2 months, or 3 months. But yeah, it's not the water, it's the sewer. That's not possibly doubling like you're saying. Is that answer enough for you?
So we're having a bad connection with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I'm sick. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. We can move on right now.
I can say it again if am I clear enough?
No, you're fine. Just send us a report info down. We're gonna move on to Board Member Lai.
Okay.
Chair, my issue has been addressed. Thank you.
Okay, so his issue has been addressed. Do we have anyone else with a question? All right, so I have a quick question. So the Honolulu Chinatown Lions Club is adopting Kamali Park and wants to reseed it and put plants in it, and it's getting donations coming, and it's going to get this Keiliuokalani school involved in it. How can we get water spigots there so that we can get water to help grow the grass?
I will need to ask about that.
Okay, that's no problem. You don't have to answer
do you
that
have
now.
Yeah.
Just send
Do
it
you have a
back to us.
time frame for that though? So I can let
Oh,
them
yeah,
know.
so we've been working on this. We're looking from donations from the big corporations to help us seed it and put the plants and flowers in it. And we're getting Keiliuokalani Middle School involved with the park itself. So we're looking, I'm gonna get back to you in 2 weeks in an email, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
And I'll
thank you.
follow up with you too about the question.
All
That's
right,
a sewer
thank you.
question, actually.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. I do appreciate that. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. You have a great day, Iris. You get better because I know you're sick, so thank you. All right, next we have the Honolulu Authority Rapid Transit. Marissa, are you here? Okay, we're going to keep it to 5 minutes. So if you can keep it under 5 minutes, that'd be great.
Okay, no problem. Good evening, Chair Carvalho, board members, and community members. My name is Marissa Gonzalez with Heart's Public Involvement Team here tonight to provide rail project updates. We also have Patrick Watson from Frank B. Coluccio Construction online, and Patrick will provide an additional update after my report. First, the airport section, the guideway and, the guideway station construction and core systems installation is complete for the airport segment from Pearl Harbor to Middle Street. Testing in the segment is currently underway and trial running is expected to begin in July 2025. As you heard earlier, and probably through the news, the mayor announced the opening of segment 2 on October 1st, and so HART is working to meet that target date. City Center section utility relocation work is ongoing and is clearing the way for column construction. The work is continuing along Dillingham Boulevard, Nimitz Highway, and Halakabila Street during daytime and nighttime work hours. The City Center Guideway column construction is expected to begin in the coming months. My last update announcement tonight is that Hart and our city center guideway and stations contractor, Tudor Perini Corporation, will be hosting a neighborhood a neighborhood design workshop for the Chinatown station in mid-June to solicit public feedback and answer questions related to the preliminary design of the station. We are in the process of selecting a date and a location, but it will take place on a weekday evening at a venue around Chinatown. And once the meeting details are finalized, we will share it with the board and also post it on our eBlasting website. In addition, we will be hosting these neighborhood design workshops in the coming months for the other city center stations, also including the Kalihi, HCC, Ivaley, Downtown, and Civic Center stations. I will post a link to sign up for the eBlast so that way you can stay updated on these workshops as the meeting dates are being finalized. That concludes my update. So to stay updated on the project, you can visit our website at honolulutransit.org, and I will drop a link in the sign up box or drop a link in the chat box for you guys to sign up for the eBlast now. Thank you again for your time and support, and I will go ahead and pass it over to Patrick from Colusio.
Patrick, you got 2 minutes to finish this up.
Thank you, Chair. Patrick Watson, Honolulu Consulting, Public Information. On behalf of Frank V. Colusio Construction, just a quick reminder that tonight, Colusio is going to be doing road restoration. So that should be music to Board Member McDonald's ears because they're going to be working on the eastbound lanes between River Street and Smith Street this evening and tomorrow night. And so they work 2 lanes at a time. So they maintain 2 lanes of traffic for the community. And then they're going to work on Monday, May 5th, beginning westbound road restoration at the Kekalike Street, Mauna Kea Street, and Smith Street intersections. And this work takes place from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. So tonight, tomorrow night, and then Monday. And then they're planning the follow-up for the westbound road restoration between Smith and River. So I'll update you folks at that time. Again, I dropped the link in the chat. So please sign up for our weekly e-blast. That's the best way to keep track of all these changes. And the last update I did have was over at the intersection of Smith Street and Halekuila Street this evening. They're also doing some street light installation work in the same hours. It's 8 p.m. start, 4 a.m. completion tonight and tomorrow night. So what that means is the Richard Street left turn to Halekuila Street will be closed, but the Ala Moana Boulevard left turn to Halekuila Street will remain open. So people who need to get to that block can get there that way. And let's see. Yep. So again, it's tonight and tomorrow night is that restoration work and the streetlight update. So that is all I have. And thank you for your time. Mahalo.
All right. Thank you. Marissa is still on the line, correct?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Just want to make sure. So do we have anyone in our library that wishes to speak? That's not a board member. All right. Thank you. Anyone online? That's not a board member that wishes to speak. All right. Not hearing none. Not seeing none. We're going to start with board member Lori McCartney, please.
Aloha, Marissa. Hey, would it be possible for Tudor Perini to also include the downtown station in their meeting? There's both of those stations are in their district, and I think they're both of interest to the people that might attend. Thank you.
Yes. And I believe downtown is included in that for the workshops. Yes.
Yes, the
Thank
ones
you.
that you referenced for mid-June. Yeah, you mentioned Chinatown. Just wanted to make sure downtown was included. Thank you.
Yes, downtown is included. Thank you, Lori. Thank you.
All right. Next, we're going to go with Shulan Shubakwa. Please unmute.
Yeah, aloha,
Yes, mute.
Marissa. I
Aloha.
was wondering for the mid-June workshop, will that be online that somebody could communicate via Zoom?
Yes, we're doing our best to arrange it that way right now to make it hybrid.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Shulan. Next, we have board member Armstrong. Excuse me, board member McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you both for being here. I'd like to start by thanking Mr. Watson for at least acknowledging some of my complaints. I appreciate that very much, although I can't believe you're going to make them work on my people's holiday Cinco de Mayo, but that's neither here nor there. My question is for Ms. Gonzalez, who I asked, I can't remember if it was you or not, but I asked the representative from HART when the last forensic audit of the HART program was conducted, when the next forensic audit of the HART program is scheduled for, and where is this information available? I didn't hear anything addressing that in your presentation. So again, I thank Mr. Watson for addressing my concerns, but I wonder if you can get back to me on that because I'm very concerned.
10 seconds.
Yes, yes, sir. I will get back to you, or I can email the board and answer that question that way as well. But I will take that back to the team.
All right. Thank you. Any other board members? Kevin Lai, board member Lai.
Chair, thank you. Question for either Marissa or Patrick. Thank you for both being here. I don't know if Coluccio is doing design and build of the rail segments in our area. If so, great, maybe you can answer. But what comes to mind is this. There's often a stock photo of the rail in an EVA direction in the Pearl City IA area. And what you see from rail height is this wavy, undulating curves in the road, or rather in the track, when you're going down a fairly linear way. Why in the world wasn't that designed so it could be straight and linear to maximize rate of speed and not have to require twists and turns? I know we don't want to talk about the frogs and things like that, but from a design standpoint, has that been addressed? And secondly, can you go over how the rail path will navigate from Dillingham around and over to the Nimitz Highway area? We've seen the construction area, but at height, what will it be, and what will be the impact to the folks at, I believe, 215 North Hotel Street and the folks who live there? So just a question, undulations and then the height. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other board members?
I'll go ahead and answer that quickly. So Coluccio is just responsible for the utility relocation element of the project for CCR3. So the design and the building of the columns, guideways, stations belongs to the next contractor. And then your height question, yeah. So I don't have any information regarding the height of the guideway.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. He said he has no information there. Can you please get information to us back to us? Go ahead and send me an email. All right. Thank you very much. Go ahead and send me an email. All right. Thank you. Any other board members have any questions? All right. So I have no other questions. Before I say goodnight to Marissa and Patrick, I'd like to let this board know that starting in June, we'll be having our old friend Harry Cho back. Okay. So Harry Cho will be coming back speaking for us. All right. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it, Marissa. Appreciate it, Patrick.
Great. Although, thank you.
All right. All right. So next, okay, up next is the Shulan Shubakwa.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I will be very, very brief. Just to introduce Chinatown Business and Community Association to new people that don't know about us. We've been operating for 16 years, founded in 2009. And the mission is to preserve and protect our Chinatown, which is the oldest Chinatown in the United States. And for the last 16 years, we have been working with the owners of businesses and also residents. So we are a grassroots community association. We help wherever we can, and we have our monthly meeting on every second Tuesday of the month, where we bring together stakeholders to discuss current issues like crime, drugs, homelessness, and what else we can help with the community and the businesses. And recently, we have been discussing a lot of tariff issues happening in Chinatown, where businesses ordering stuff from China are taking advantage of the pause of 90 days, but they're not receiving anything back from China. So they're very worried. So a lot of the merchants are not able to have merchandise on the shelves in the next few months. So some are worrying because they would have nothing to sell. That's the business side of the report. And our next meeting will be on May 13 at 10:30 at Legends. So that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
So any questions from anyone in our library? Nope. Anyone from the public online? Nope. Any board member have any questions? Nope, not hearing any. Thank you very much, Shalon.
Thank
have
you.
a good day.
Yeah.
But remember, we still have a vote coming up on recommendation for changing the date. Yeah. All right. So next, we're going to go ahead and move up to the chair's report on upcoming events and initiatives. Most of these are just announcements. So there will be no discussion on them because they're just actually announcements about the community, what's going on. All right. First up is 8.1, right? Announcement. Yeah. First up, 8.1. This is this is my so this is my event, and I'm trying to think about. So what's happening on this event? The Foster Botanical Gardens, the community walk with myself and Council Member Tyler Santos, going to be happening on May 31st. 25 people, the first 25 people to sign up are going to get into the botanical gardens for free. They will not be paying for it. So it's going to be a community walk out there. We're going to do it out there. The meetup time will be at 10:30 on the 31st of May. So if anyone has any questions, they can email me and I'll fill them in. Yes, it's going to be in the gardens.
The purpose of the walk is just to acquaint the people with Foster Gardens, which is an amazing place.
Yes. We want the community to get back to Foster Gardens, get to know the community. Okay. All right. And if anyone in the community have any questions, you can go online to NCO website and you can pull off my email address, or it's ecarvalho17@gmail.com. ecarvalho17@gmail.com. Next is 8.2, Honolulu Department of Parks and Recreation Community Feedback Request regarding dog-friendly park. Okay, as far as this go, feedback request for the dog-friendly parks, an email was circulated, which is on a Google Drive. I have already reached out to the Parks and Recreations to invite them to a future meeting. So we will allow the community to provide feedbacks. Also, we can understand how feedbacks can be submitted electronically. So we will have a representative on our June meeting for this. Yeah. Okay. So we have already reached out and we are having a representative to address this so the community can understand this. So that takes care of this. Next is 8.3, Chair's recommendation to change the meeting date from Thursday, July 3rd, 2025 to Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, in light of Friday, July 4th, 2025. We find ourselves for the last couple of years on the cusp hours, and there's a lot of people that, especially since Friday's a holiday, that will be taken off on Thursday. So we want to get this through, and we're thinking that doing it on the 1st, which is on Tuesday, might be a better date. This is up for discussion, and I'm hoping that we can keep this quick and fast. Go ahead, Board Member Isakane.
I'll make a motion to go with the chair's recommendation to move the meeting as in the agenda.
Second.
Open up for discussions. Board Member Lai.
Thank you, Chair. I'm in favor of the motion, but I'd like to make an amendment to the motion. It's called a rider.
Okay, what's the amendment?
Thank you. That we do change the date to as requested earlier in July, and that all future items that are added in our Google Drive have file names that correspond to the now Arabic numeral item number so the public can follow along and match documents with each agenda item, including testimony that's submitted. I'd appreciate a second for taking care of this issue. Thank you.
All right, any objections? No? Oh, there is there. It's my fault. You're right. Is there a second to this?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any objections?
Object.
Okay, discussion. We want on discussion. Go ahead. One time, 1 minute. Go
Chair,
ahead.
thank you. Best practices will allow our community members and our board members to quickly know what items correspond in the Google Drive. We did this in past administrations and it worked out well because when you're going down and through the meeting, you know what to click on next. Now that you've changed from Roman numerals using Arabic numerals, that makes it even easier. So that now things will actually be in numerical order when we list them in the drive and they can be sorted by order. It makes it really easy. It's just a best practice thing, and there's really no reason not to do it when files are submitted. Either the secretary or our neighbor assistant or anyone else on the top level of the board group can take care of that. It's a really easy thing. Thank you.
All right. Any other quick discussions? Not hearing, none. I'm going to go to roll call, and I'm recommending. Well, no, I do actually have something. I am actually recommending against it. I just want to go with the original, and the reason for that, as far as that goes, Kevin, I respect what you're saying on that, and I agree with, and I will make the change personally myself coming up this next month in June. Okay, so I'm against it. But Shulan, did you have a question?
No, I'm gonna vote and then.
Okay. All right. So roll call vote on this. Yeah. Yeah. The roll call vote is the motion with the amendment, correct? Go ahead. All those, we have, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Armstrong.
Aye.
Fitzsimmons, absent. Isokane.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
McCartney.
Aye.
McDonald.
Abstain.
Schubert Kwok.
Aye.
Sturgis.
Aye.
Chair.
So nay.
5 ayes, 2 noes, 1 abstention. The motion passes.
All right, so the motion passed. All right, so that's it. Let me see. Yeah. All right, so now announcements of 2025 Neighborhood Board election timeline. Friday, April 25th, 2025, voting begins. Passcodes mailed out. Friday, May 16, 2025, voting ends. Friday, May 23rd, 2025, deadline for ballots postmarked no later than Monday, May 19, 2025, to be received. The next Downtown-Chinatown Neighborhood Board number 13 regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 5th, 2025 at 6:00 p.m. at Kelly Kalani Middle School and virtually via WebEx. Rebroadcasts of Downtown-Chinatown Neighborhood Board number 13 meetings are scheduled on Olelo Channel 49 for every third Thursdays at 9:00 p.m. as well as 9:00 a.m. on the fourth Saturdays of each month. An archive of past meetings may be found on olelo.org, olelo.net by searching downtown. This meeting is adjourned at 8:38. Thank you. Have a good day.